My brothers and sisters, greetings. One evening at a baseball game, when the crowd stood for the Star Spangled Banner, a young boy failed to remove his cap. A burly man behind him leaned forward and said, "Hey kid, take off your hat." The child's father bristled, but he waited until the end of the singing, and trying to control his quivering voice, he said quietly to the man, "My son has been undergoing radiation treatment for cancer and he has lost all his hair." The boy was not disrespectful during the singing of the national anthem. He was simply too embarrassed to remove his cap. The burly man learned a lesson. Externals do not always indicate what is in the heart. That is also the lesson the Pharisees had to learn in the gospel episode for the Sunday's Mass. They were upset with Jesus' disciples because they failed to follow the regulations for a ritual washing of hands before eating. Their concern was not hygiene, but adherence to the letter of the law. When the Pharisees demanded of Jesus why his disciples acted as they did, he refused to answer. Instead, he warned them in the words of the prophet Isaiah, "These people pay me lip service, but their heart is far from me." He went on to explain that internal disposition are more important than external observance. Jesus, for example, as a liturgical people, we need to reflect on Jesus' teaching. The liturgy, as a matter of fact, is concerned with lots of externals, such as gestures, standing, sitting, kneeling, processing, singing, and reciting prayers, as well as the use of vestment, candles, and decorations. In fact, the church teaches in the Constitution on the liturgy that full, active, conscious participation in the sacred Christian spirit, in the sacred liturgy, is the indispensable source of the true Christian spirit. And the same Constitution makes it clear that participation is accomplished by means of acclamations, responses, psalms, antiphons, and songs, as well as by actions, gestures, and bodily attitudes. Number 14 and 30. And yet, the chief element of worship, Pope Pius XII taught, is internal. That means that what we do externally is intended to express and to intensify sincere interior disposition, such as faith, hope, and love. So sometimes the best measure of our devotion is not what we do during Mass, but what and how we act outside of Mass. It is in that fine line. We can say it is in that line St. James is telling us today. Be doers of the word and not hearers only. James chapter 1, verse 22. So my brothers and sisters, let us let the Holy Spirit enlighten our hearts and mind, that we will always try our best to let the interior of ourselves be reflecting as well the external. May God continue to be with you. and bless you. Have a blessed week.